some folks' wisdom, I guess. Curse of curse. Hello, hello. Whoever is watching. Curse of curse. That's right. Utensils. Looks like utensils. Possibly utensils. Yes. Oh. Yep, 13 utensils. Okay. 13 reflux are 13 inner stones. Oh, the one that. Oh. Okay. 13 might signify this. Wow. Okay, that is okay, interesting. Cicada. What's that? I guess it's Sarah. Oh, I'm wrong. Oops. So it's right. No. Oops. Cicada. Silhouette of the creature can be seen on the surface. Strikes me. Must be far since it's created. So so it fits the theme of the symbol of the Innistrad. So oh no, wow, it's not wolf. Oops, I'm wrong once again. Hero. Interesting. Okay, preview is starting. For those of you who are just watching this stream after as a replay, welcome to my preview stream. I'm excited to see what kind of zombies.
Welcome to the debut of Innistrad Midnight Hunt, where the night is dark and full of terrors, just the way that werewolves like it. I am your host, Joe Manganello. As some of you know, I'm a longtime Magic player, but I have been practicing especially hard for this day because I have assembled some of the Wizards of the Coast staff, and they're going to explain some of the features of this fan favorite plane. And I also have someone else here who is an expert in all things magic,
Like he should.
my good friend Jimmy Wong.
What's up, Joe?
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing great. I love Innistrad. I'm super excited. Werewolves, one of my favorite creatures. And hey, you know something about werewolves, don't you?
What do you mean?
What? That's like suspicious. Why would you answer it? That's something a werewolf would say, and you.
All right, I hate to cut you off, but we gotta get this going before the sun sets.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so as I was saying, we are going back to the fan favorite plane of Innistrad and all of its gothic horror glory. We're also inviting players to take part in the Harvesttide Festival, where werewolves and warlocks roam the woods in Midnight Hunt.
And one thing is always certain: when you're on Innistrad, there's always something scary lurking behind every corner or card. You ready to do this?
It is time to become what you fear, Jimmy.
Yeah?
Let's go.
What do you mean? That's weird. Just an interesting thing to say.
And here we have Maris Mullally, the narrative design manager at Wizards of the Coast. Hi, Maris.
Hey, Mary.
Hi, it's good to see you guys.
Hey, just a heads up, I gotta get out of here before sunset.
Should be a problem.
He's just messing. He's not. He's totally fine, right? Yeah. So, Maris, we're going back to Innistrad. I'm so excited.
Yes, back to Innistrad. Our first time we were there, 2011, a whole decade ago.
Jeez.
It's been 5 years since the last time we visited Innistrad, at least in our timeline, in our world.
I mean, that's a lot of time passed. What's
Yes.
been going on in Innistrad since then?
Since we last were there, the Eldrazi are gone, but it's still a pretty dangerous place for humans. Innistrad in general is just built around gothic horror themes, so there's darkness, there's the creepy, ominous shadows, and all of the creatures that hide in those shadows.
Okay, well, you know, I always loved how immersive Innistrad was, so can you tell us a little bit about the process of returning to a plane that people are familiar with? Like, what's new this time?
Part of it was we went old. Like, we had the Eldrazi in the last time we visited Innistrad, but this time we said, okay, we want to go full back. What are the core themes of original Innistrad? Werewolves, ghouls, zombies, but we wanted to add a bit of kind of charm and flavor and remind everybody that while humans are delicious and the bottom of the food chain, they are also resilient, and they've been all about survival. So we've got a big centerpiece of Midnight Hunt, which is the Harvesttide. And it's a place where some of the humans, a coven of witches, have come to kind of try to help the humans because, you know, when you mess with the moon, it starts really messing around with your day-night cycle, and things are getting dark. The chances that the humans have to kind of survive is getting harder. Longer nights, shorter days. It's time for the Dawnheart Coven to try to fix things.
Okay, so the moon has been messed with. Consequences are happening.
Yes.
What are the other things that were really important when you guys came back to Innistrad that you thought, we had to keep these, we have to focus on these?
Well, we have to keep things like vampires and werewolves, and for Midnight Hunt, we decided we really wanted to just focus, like, werewolves were the heart of it.
Gotcha.
You know,
Wait, what do you mean? What are you so happy about?
I mean, you know, people like werewolves, you know, they're popular. People,
Yes.
they're exciting, fierce.
exciting, fierce,
Yeah.
handsome, strong.
Interesting. A lot of
Yes.
comments. Okay, well, focusing back on the set
Right.
here, I feel like the inhabitants of Innistrad, right? You said whimsy. Does that mean
Yes.
that they're gonna have a party?
We haven't had a chance to ever show humans on Innistrad having a party. It's time for them to show off that they've got a little bit of lightheartedness, they have hope, they have come together, they will face the darkness together.
And what kind of characters could we expect to see in the set?
Well, the primary folks at the Harvesttide are the humans, but Innistrad is also home to werewolves, vampires, geist, zombies, and, oh my gosh,
Warlocks.
warlocks. Yes, who are also kind of humans. And warlocks are a subgroup of humans. Yeah,
So the humans have started figuring out how to
they're the magical humans.
battle against
Yes.
the creatures of the night.
They don't want to just all be food.
Right. Well, you know me, I'm a visual learner. Can we see some of this amazing art? I know
Yes.
there's gotta be a lot.
Yes, let's start with the werewolves. Let's start with the like creative, exciting heart of Midnight Hunt.
Oh, wow. Look at
Wow.
this.
There are more werewolf attacks happening. People in Kessig are going missing. There is rumor of a new hell pack that has kind of started forming and is growing rapidly. And
wow.
as the nights get longer,
very, very
it just, yeah, it's just perfect for them.
like
Their hunting time expands.
Well, it looks like there's a pumpkin being ripped apart. The werewolves are just kind of trashing the Harvesttide Festival. Is that right? The party,
They
they've
don't like
invaded
the
party.
decor. They don't like the decor.
They weren't invited to the party, and now they're angry. and they're going to
You
come.
make a fair point. They probably weren't invited to the party.
There are other things happening. The humans are fighting on the front lines, as it appears like the warlocks are doing a lot here as
They
well.
are. Like, humans on Innistrad, they are all about survival. It's hard being the bottom of the food chain, but they are resilient. Some of them have taken up arms as soldiers, as Cathars, to fight back the forces of night. Some used to follow Avacyn, but now that she's gone, they've taken other paths. And some are returning to the hedge magic of the past, and those are the covens and the hedge witches and warlocks.
Well, and they always say you have to know your enemies. Werewolves are not fans of vampires. Where do the vampires play into all of this?
So the vampires, they're present, but they're kind of hanging back and watching what the werewolves are doing. They are interested in this long night. They are interested in the growing despair that the humans are feeling. But they're gonna let the werewolves do the work right now. We'll definitely see a lot more of those vampires in our next set of Crimson Vow.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All right, now how about the zombies? This is one of my favorite creature types of all time.
Yes, I've got someone for you.
Okay.
Meet Wilhelt the Rot Cleaver. So Wilhelt the Rot Cleaver is one of our new commanders, and this card features one of the new zombie mechanics, Decay.
Decayed. It can't block. When it attacks, sacrifice it at end of combat. Okay, hordes of decaying zombies.
Yes.
Sign me up.
Oh yes, always.
Not for me. I am not a zombie guy.
No?
Nah.
If you're not a fan of zombies, how do you feel about ethereal spirits from the graveyard?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm listening.
So we've got
Yes,
our Geist, we've got our spirits. This is Beloved Beggar, and Beloved Beggar is featuring one of the new mechanics for Midnight Hunt, which is called Disturb.
Disturb. You may cast this card from your graveyard transformed for its disturb cost.
Transformations on Innistrad are pretty common, from humans to werewolves, the dead to becoming the undead, or in this case, a spirit. And when you pay the disturb cost of Beloved Beggar, you can come back from your graveyard as, in this case, Generous Soul, who's going to protect the village in his afterlife rather than going along to the blessed sleep.
Wow.
Ah, I love that
Yeah.
mechanic. That's
Yeah.
great. So they actually come out of the graveyard transformed into this new ethereal form
Okay.
Yeah.
to help the
Sounds
humans.
interesting.
Some to help the humans. I'm sure not all of them are here to help the humans. Some might actually be around to help the werewolves or the vampires. Who
Well, I
knows?
love the transform mechanic, and I feel like with these two sets coming in, there has to finally be enough cards to make a transform deck happen, so that's pretty cool.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
All right, well, this has been an amazing look at the plane and the creatures of Midnight Hunt. But now the story revolves around the Harvesttide Festival, which we're all
Yes.
in the middle of here. What's this festival all about?
The Harvesttide is a week-long event. At the center of the event is a ritual that involves the Celestis, where the Dawnheart Coven is pretty sure that the moon and the Eldrazi in the moon is the reason that we're having this imbalance with our day and night. So they want to do a ritual that will fix that. And this is a time to connect with the woods, connect with the other humans.
Why would you have a festival in the middle of a werewolf wood?
Why not?
Well, it's also where the Celestis is. But you know, we've got magic up. We've got little warning.
Okay.
But it completely makes sense to me now. The werewolves are angry. Why are they throwing a party in the middle of their woods
In their
without
backyard.
inviting them? I mean, come on, this is like you setting up to have a barbecue in my backyard and you didn't invite me.
It's true. I'm so sorry when that happened. I really didn't mean for that to offend you.
This actually happened a few weeks ago.
And you brought all of this fresh meat to the barbecue as well.
We did. Something tells me things are not going to go quite as planned. Is there any art that we can get a good, better idea of what's going to happen at this festival?
I mean, if you're going to take the pessimistic approach, I can show you this, which purely hypothetical.
Okay.
I'd like to believe that the event is going to go well.
Well, it looks like there's definitely some trouble brewing in these woods. Quite nice.
That's right. All right, well, Jimmy and I need to keep this caravan moving and learn a little bit more about the development of Midnight Hunt.
Yeah.
But Maris, thank you so much for your input.
You're very welcome.
Nice.
Take care.
Thanks.
Be safe in those woods.
Oh, we try. Do we? That's your belly, right, Joe? You're just hungry, right?
Yeah, it's okay.
Great.
I'm picking up a scent this way, Jimmy.
Yeah? Oh, well, very good directional sense. We are joined by creative director Doug Beyer and senior art director Taylor Ingverson. How's it going, guys?
Going great. How are you guys?
Very good, very
Awesome. So, Maris talked to us a little bit about the world and story of Midnight Hunt, but I wanted to dive deeper.
That's right. Let's dive deeper.
Let's do it.
All right. We all know that on Innistrad, things are always pretty rough for the humans. They're kind of the low part of the food web, if you will.
A bummer for us humans.
Yeah.
But this time during Midnight Hunt, things are even scarier. The days are getting shorter, they're getting colder, the nights are getting longer. There's whispers that, like, maybe we won't even see another sunrise.
Ever?
Ever.
Wow.
If nobody does anything. So we're looking at a world where there's this unnatural darkness encroaching on the world, and with it, it's bringing this unseasonal, weird, supernatural frost that's kind of falling over the whole world. You can see this frost in this cycle of Dual Lands.
Oh, two of my favorite words in the world. Let's take a look. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, what's coming down out of the sky here? Is that frost you're talking about?
Yeah, we're actually seeing some of the disruption with the current occupant of the moon has caused some weirdness in the day-night pattern on Innistrad, and that's this effect that you're seeing in the sky around the sun and moon. You can also see these Dual Lands in borderless versions.
Something that's super fun about the frost is because it is Innistrad, so even the frost is pokey and dangerous.
Well, as a land fanatic, are we doing anything special with the basic lands in this set?
Well, yes, if you like special-looking lands,
I do.
There's also the Showcase Eternal Night lands. So take a look at these.
Oh, wow. I love the black and white artwork. It's very reminiscent of, like, old classic horror movies that I stayed up late on the weekends watching when my parents weren't paying attention.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, these are gorgeous.
And I love the idea that if it's just moonlight, it kind of does take the color away from the world and adds that bleakness a little bit.
And if you're really digging those, Joe, you're gonna love this. Those are not reserved specifically just for the lands. We're gonna be able to see that treatment on all sorts of creatures as well.
Okay.
First one up is Jadar, Ghoul Caller of Nephalia.
It's the decay keyword again.
Yeah.
It's all about making a bunch of zombies. Ooh.
Okay, so he's a human necromancer, it looks like, who's maybe dabbled in the dark arts and can control zombies.
I thought he was giving him a haircut, to be honest, but
Well, you know, your hair and your nails do grow.
That's right.
After you die.
Yeah,
So someone
absolutely.
has to get in there.
yeah, every good zombie needs a good barber. That's a quote I heard all the time growing up.
Yeah.
And here's Jadar in the Showcase Eternal Night treatment. And I love the fact that you're able to see two versions of the same thing, especially because this black and white version has that awesome mask, that sort of that plague doctor look to it as well. It almost feels like it's the fairy tale version a little bit too. Like if you told the story of this person, the kid might imagine their tongue coming out like that and looking like this much scarier, kind of ominous version.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
That's something cool about Innistrad. Is like you could describe the scariest thing possible, and it still might not be as scary as the real thing that shows up at your doorstep.
Right.
But also immediately recognizable to this particular set. What was the inspiration for this Eternal Night storyline feature?
Yeah, so just kind of like everything else in this time around on Innistrad, it really leans into the day-night cycle being all jacked up and really wonky. So the sun is kind of the opposite of the moon, so we really wanted to think about what could be high contrast and opposites in the artwork, and that led us to the inspiration of jumping back into old classic movies and movie posters, the black and white, and it really just helps it jump off of the card.
Yeah, wow, that is really cool.
When I noticed that with magic art, that you really do allow artists to then reimagine a character that maybe fans were aware of previously, and now you get to see them in a new way.
So, if you like werewolves, you like Arlen, who is our favorite werewolf planeswalker. She's pulled between the human side and her wolf essence.
This is the standard frame for Arlen, the Pack's Hope. Daybound. If a player casts no spells during their own turn, it becomes night next turn. And on the flip side, Arlen, the Moon's Fury. Nightbound. If a player casts at least 2 spells during their own turn, it becomes day next turn.
So Arlen is our favorite werewolf planeswalker. Her story has always been about being stuck between her human side and her wolf side. She's sort of called to what Tovalar is doing in this set, but she's also concerned about the extinction of all humans on this world. So she is reaching out to other planeswalkers to help. She's concerned that if this day-night cycle disruption goes on, that the sun will never come up again, and it's going to be a whole deal.
Right.
And Arlen also comes in this Equinox frame, so that you can see her and a bunch of werewolves and warlock creatures in the set that have this frame.
That's fantastic.
Something that is particularly exciting with Arlen on this one is on her human side, if you look closely, you can see this is sort of one of the first times we get to see a wolf kind of half in, half out of their transformation.
I also love this surrealistic style. That's such a cool collector.
Exactly, that's been our attempt to broaden out the visual style that Magic captures. You can be a fan of this style and somebody else is not that into it. That's okay. There's all these different expressions of the visual excitement of Innistrad in different styles.
Right. So the Eternal Night frames show that darkness, and the Equinox frames show the brightness that could possibly occur. But I love these Equinox frames. There's so much flavor, and I love the small details in between them too, from day to night, which you can really feel in the art, which is awesome.
Right, right. The sun in the corner, then you get the moon,
Yeah.
you get that crescent moon there.
That's awesome.
Beautiful.
Don't look too hard at the moon, right?
Speaking of moon, I'm feeling a little itchy, Jimmy. If we, I want to move this along.
Yeah, let's definitely do that. He's such a good actor, this guy. I love it. Okay, well, where were we? Right. Arlen, and you mentioned someone named Tovalar. Who's that?
Yeah, so with the growing, nights are getting longer and the cycle's all messed up, Arlen is becoming more and more concerned with sort of the strength of the Howl packs on Innistrad, and in particular, one leader called Tovalar.
Oh, hey! This is a werewolf commander. So exciting.
Very powerful werewolf commander.
Yeah.
Now I notice Tovalar is holding something in his hand. He has a sword. There's something special about that. Do you want to explain that?
Yeah, he's sort of the first werewolf to transition, still holding on to his beloved weapon. So he's the first wolf that'll be roaming around Innistrad, swinging around a sword.
So he's not full beasting out. He actually retains some of that humanity.
Yeah, he's pretty unique in that sense that he can sort of maintain a little bit of his composure even when his humors get the better of him.
These werewolves do look a bit scarier than the ones I think we've seen in the past. Even the ones that were mixed with Eldrazi, these look very strong.
Something that is super, super cool and really special about werewolves on Innistrad is that we're so excited to introduce a new strain of werewolf called the Dire strain, which Tovalar is actually the leader of. And they are massive. Like, a Tovalar in his human form can stand head-to-head with a basic werewolf on Innistrad. And then when he wolfs out, he's even bigger. Bigger, stronger, faster, and holy buckets, you wouldn't want to run into one in a dark alley.
No, that's definitely for sure. Good thing they're on our side. So you created this day-bound, night-bound mechanic to mimic how the werewolves transform. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so transforming is a huge part of going back to Innistrad. Werewolves flipping back and forth from their human side to their werewolf side is something that people are familiar with. And this time around, especially with the new expressions of werewolves that we're bringing in, it was a good opportunity for us to really sort of highlight stories from your human side to your wolf side. So you'll see similar jewelry, clothing, and any adornments, even wacky hairstyles transferring over to your wolf side. And then with the Dire strain, since they sort of are most comfortable in their skin as a wolf, they kind of embody that in their human form. So they intentionally wear larger jewelry, bigger, baggier clothing, because they're kind of uncomfortable in their human skin. And when they wolf out, everything fits just perfectly.
Yeah, very smart. I love that you've done some research and talked to werewolves about issues that they've had, and then incorporated them into the card.
Did you ready, Jimmy?
No, I'm just thinking about everything you've said today, Joe, and I'm getting more nervous. I'm also really excited because I hope we get to see more cards before I die.
Well, do you want to see some more cards, Jimmy? Let's talk about some more cards.
Okay, sick. Let's do it.
Well, I mean, I know these werewolves seem intimidating, but that's okay because the humans have some stuff up their sleeves as well. They are joining with the forces of the Dawnheart Coven, which is a force of witches and warlocks. They're coming out of the woodwork. They're kind of an ancient nature-worshipping coven of warlocks led by Catilda, and they are here to do something about this day-night disruption. They want to put a stop to it so that the world can be safe for humans again.
Right. And Avacyn's gone, right? So they need someone to look to in these dire times.
That's right. So in Avacyn's absence, they have turned their worship to the Sigarda. So would you like to see
You
cool
Sigarda?
angel, new angel,
Oh,
new
count
Sigarda?
me
Let's take a
in.
look at her.
Finally, some non-werewolves.
She has this Coven mechanic, very powerful card actually, which you can see there. The Coven mechanic represents this connection, this pact that's between the Dawnheart Witches and their allies at the Harvesttide Festival. This is showing how diverse groups of creatures are all coming together to work against the werewolves and use their powers, their different powers, literally their different power and toughnesses to be their source of strength.
Teamwork makes the dream work, as
That's right.
always. Very cool.
Sigarda also comes in an Eternal Night frame.
Oh, yeah, that's
Beautiful.
awesome.
I mean, I love that it's a close-up. You know, there's so much to look at in terms of the cards. Like, each card is its own work of art. There's so much to explore in each one of these images.
Speaking to my heart.
These are awesome sort of examples too, just bringing it back again of like allowing artists to sort of play around in the toolbox that we provide.
Right.
You can see in her Eternal Night version, she's got a lot more of like a flower crown going on, sort of bringing in again a lot more of that Harvesttide vibe to her and sort of taking the flowers and everything that's happy and hopeful around this event.
And the floating candles, too, is a really nice touch.
Yeah.
Speaking of floating candles, if you want to, like, Taylor and I love us some floating candles. They're all over this world. They're all over this set. We just couldn't get enough of it as a visual motif, seriously. But one of the characters that's really focused on the Harvesttide Festival is Lenore, Autumn Sovereign, who's kind of the elected queen of this entire festival.
Oh, beautiful. That pose is so cool. It looks like Lenore is just celebrating the Harvesttide Festival here.
Yeah, she's a great example too of just how insane you can go with your costuming coming to the Harvesttide Festival.
Right.
Like, again, with the floating candles, she's got those sort of assisting her with her dress and her clothes and her hair and all sorts of other things that she's got going on. You can really go all out and feel one with nature and really one with the warmth and the light that this event brings.
So is this it? Is Arlen really just up against this entire force by herself with just these warlocks and humans around?
No, so like we've been talking about, she is super concerned with the growing night for human safety. So she goes and calls her friend, the Time Mage himself, Teferi. And he travels all the way over to Innistrad to lend a hand with all of his time magic powers. And we actually have his art here that we can show for you.
Love how the phases of the moon now
Yeah.
are shown where he's trying to manipulate the phases. I love the way that shows up on the card. That's really,
Really cool.
Yeah, those are those happy moments where you can write certain things and then who we collaborate with on the visual side of things can just bring something special to it. And this is one in particular.
Very fitting planeswalker to slow down whatever's happening over there, right?
Well, I mean, to try. Could try.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing their best.
Well, and Harvesttide is really not just a big party. This is actually a ritual. That the hope is this ancient spell will be able to rectify the day-night imbalance. The Dawnheart Coven are coming to the Celestis, which is this massive astronomical device in the Kessig Woods. They're putting the Harvesttide Festival there so that they can cast this ritual. They've got Teferi's time magic trying to slow down that last sunset, and all this is leading up to the final piece, which is this sacred vessel called the Moonsilver Key, which we can see here in the card Secrets of the Key.
Very cool. So that's them working together. But more importantly, we have two mechanics on here that I'm really excited about. Investigate as well as Flashback, which is an Innistrad classic. Look at this art. They're clearly on the precipice of making things better. Well, they're right there. Maybe they're gonna get it.
Is there anything else that you want or can tell us about the making of this set?
Yeah, I mean, it was an absolute blast to work on and so excited for it to finally like come to life and people to grab onto it and blast open packs. It was great to visit a beloved fan favorite plane, and it's a lot of our favorite planes as well. We got to bring some hope and some warmth to it that Innistrad doesn't usually get to see, and we also got to bring on some more good old scary bits that put the humans in even more danger. If I'm being super honest and really a little bit selfish, werewolves are my favorite monster of all time, and I was just super, super excited to make some really big ones.
Interesting.
You know why?
Yeah, we should.
Look at all these werewolf lovers. You guys, okay, cool.
All right,
Yay.
so I think I'm going to speak for a lot of people out there that want to know, do Teferi and Arlen ever find the Moonsilver Key in time?
Well, I can't tell you the whole story quite yet, but if you are interested in more of the tale, there's going to be a Midnight Hunt web fiction coming out very soon.
Oh, exciting. That's great.
All right, well, that just about wraps up our first look at Midnight Hunt. Jimmy, what'd you think?
It all looks incredible. There's so much to look forward to with this set. And check it out, Joe. We finished just in time, a few minutes before the sun sets, and you're gonna turn into a werewolf, right?
Yeah, all right, we better wrap this up.
Yeah, we better, because you're definitely not messing with me, right?
So you thought I was messing with you?
Yeah, because that's the kind of thing you like to do, mess with people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, professional messer over here.
Hey, look, I'm as curious as anybody if Joe's gonna turn into a werewolf, but I kind of gotta go, so
Fine.
Fine. Previews are starting now, so be sure to sign up and tune in on September 16th for the launch of Midnight Hunt on Arena. And maybe there will be some other, special things to go along with it.
And you can also head to your local game store to plan a pre-release on September 17th.
Yeah, well, thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Whew, good stuff, man. You want to get like a bite to eat or something?
I'd love to, Jimmy.
It's very interesting. Crimson Vow. Nice. Alright. I'll see y'all on my next opening. Bye bye.